Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to Vibe Nation. Today we're here to watch another video. Today we're here to watch SCP-96. We're here to continue this. This will be part 2. This is by SCP Illustrated. If you want to watch the original video, the links will be down in the description down below. And we are...
and if you check the comments, I'll be posting a link to another video that me and Vibe did. If I can find the old video file.
No. I know what you're alluding to, and no, we're not.
No. Apparently Vibe got a dirty mind, everyone, because literally I was thinking it was the uncut, unedited video that we did. It was To Catch a Predator, and it was basically the entire video and it has the bonus features that Vibe edited out, and I still have access to that video on my Google Drive.
I'm gonna send you one video.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one I was talking about.
Well, how am I supposed to know? Like, to tell you the truth, you've said so much stuff about secret videos that I have no recollection of, so I have to assume the worst now.
Y'all see how Vibes over here getting paranoid now.
Because of you.
Aw, thanks.
Anyway, I'll also be eating through this because still got like almost like a whole sitcom to go through with this video. And well, let's go. In 3, 2, 1.
End log. Begin log. Audio transcript between MTF-TAU-1 and modified EG-3 Century AWACS. Call sign Big Brother.
Osprey's in the air, moving. And awaiting vector.
Electronics online. Cruising altitude reached. Uploading program scrambled to all camera systems. Cameras online. Big Brother is now watching.
What outbound vector is the target currently heading?
Target is currently westbound, traveling on... shit. Yeah, he's on the I-40. I think he just flipped a semi. Outbound vector is... degrees by... Next town this vector is... I'd say a couple 100 kilometers. Shit, MTF. We're suggesting Echo Romeo begin evacuating the I-40. I don't know how many cars the target has wrecked.
Hold 1.
Dog, imagine how much... Like, what do you tell your car insurance company? Like, some fucking humanoid flipped over my car. Come on, please, I'm not on drugs, I swear.
That's a negative, Big Brother. ERA is reporting that the target is outrunning their choppers. They can't get ahead of them.
Then get them to stop the motorists on the other lane. I don't know how many people I've seen this take space.
End log. The first 3 elements of TAU-1 succeeded in gathering the townsfolk in the first 3 towns of our incident. SCP-096-1 was confirmed to not be in any of these when SCP-096 ran through each in turn without stopping. However, a video log in MTF-TAU shows SCP-096-1 being identified in the town of and the ensuing incident. Show it. Begin log. Helm cam footage from Element 4 of MTF-TAU-1 in the town of... Most of the townspeople are gathered in the square, all blindfolded. Helicopters sweep the town. Indistinct orders are heard over loudspeakers from both...
Like a Bird Box 2.
Basically.
That's terrible, bro. Wait a minute. Why'd I look like a grown man? I look like a child. That man's neck looks too big.
The helicopters and ground personnel.
The target is entering proximity zone. All units activate scramble gear and begin crowd control procedures. All civilians are not to move from their spot or remove their blindfolds. If you move or touch your blindfold, you will be shot. I repeat, all civilians are not to be...
Wait a minute. So if I touch my blindfold, I die?
Hmm.
What's the point now? Let, let's be real. What's the point now? If I take my blindfold off and I see this thing, I die. If I touch my blindfold, I die. I'm like, what's the point of wasting bullets on me when the thing that if I see their face is going to get me anyway?
Orders are drowned out by a large shriek coming from outside the camera's view. Approximately 2 kilometers away, SCP-096 is seen to be coming over the crest of the hills. It tries to slow down on the descent, but trips and tumbles down at high speed, crashing through several houses before regaining its footing almost without delay.
Once again, civilians are not to move. You will be shot. I repeat.
Several shots are heard, none of which are directed at SCP-096.
What was the point? Huh? What was the point? I
I
don't.
think they're trying to prevent an XK event, which basically means in the war scenario.
So you mean that they're trying to prevent people from turning into that thing? Is what you're saying?
No, what they're trying to do is they were trying to basically only have one casualty, because they know that there's nothing they can do to save the person who triggered the SCP depletion payment. They can't save that person, but what they can do is they can prevent it from getting any more targets, other or killing any more people. This other than the ones that he probably killed on the I-40.
I'm still so confused. Like it's like, oh my gosh, it's been a couple days since I had to come back to this video. Wait, you explain to me how did they end up turning into this thing again?
How SCP-196 came to be. There's actually a video that had the theory about that, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. I don't think so.
I'm just saying, some of the stuff this doesn't make no sense. I get shot if I touch my blindfold. I get shot if I move. So what am I supposed to do? What do I gotta go to the bathroom? I pee on myself? What? Jeez, man.
SCP-096 stops for 1 second before running into the crowd of townsfolk, throwing many aside and trampling more. More shots are heard as the crowd begins dispersing, the loudspeakers unintelligible under the vocalizations of SCP-096. SCP-096 locates SCP-096-1, a middle-aged man, and the camera views SCP-096 grabbing him before it is hit by a fleeing townsperson and is dislocated from the helmet. End log. Begin log. Video interview log 096-1-C.
I was looking through 9-6's house with my squad. Poor bastard was a semi-pro mountaineer. Took a trip to the... Apparently, he took a snapshot of the landscape and just happened to catch 9-6 in the background.
Wilford holds up 4 fingers for emphasis.
4 pixels. 4 fucking pixels. I doubt the guy even knew what he saw. He was probably just looking at the picture one day, noticed an off-color patch of snow and went on with his day.
How did you find it?
Our scramble gear picked it up right away. Lieutenant got the picture and took it down to the chopper before I ever got to see it. By then the damn monster had taken down Big Brother and it had peeled open Major Stryker. All hell was breaking loose.
So the scramble gear was ineffective.
Ineffective? The goddamn scrambles were pieces of shit that killed the whole damn task force. You know only 3 people are alive besides me? All because some retard egghead thought of a state-of-the-art countermeasure to 9-6's hostile reaction. Those bloody idiots could have just put a bag over the target's head and be done with it. But no, we had to use state-of-the-fucking-art scramble.
End log. Begin log.
You know, he made a lot more sense. The most simplest things that they could have done could have saved so many people, but they want to say, no, we're more intelligent than that. We are human beings. We've made leaps and bounds through time and whatever. Like it makes no sense. Try to use the net. It's just like 1 + 1 = 2. Be done with it.
That fucker cool me? Dr. Dan pushes back from the table and begins standing up. I'll show that goddamn son of a bitch what an egghead is after I bash open his... Interviewee begins shouting and cursing. 2 guards enter the room and push Dr. Dan back into his seat.
Do we need to administer a sedative, doctor?
Dr. Dan takes a breath and smooths his coat. No. I apologize. Scramble was really an ingenious idea. However, it was a failure because we did not fully know how SCP-096 worked. You see, as the chip inside Scramble picked up SCP-096's facial features and began scrambling them, there was a split second of uninterrupted light flow to the retina. Computers are fast, but not as fast as light. So there was a split-second image of SCP-096's direct face sent to the brain. It wasn't even consciously received, but apparently it was enough to trigger the hostile reaction in SCP-096.
And so with this report of the photograph...
That's the most disturbing part of this whole incident. You know, when the former SCP-096-1 went on his mountain trip? 1990... That's years of that photo hanging there before he saw SCP-096. Since the brain doesn't need to be aware that it is viewing SCP-096's face to trigger a reaction, there can be ticking time bombs hidden literally anywhere in the world. How many photographs are out there containing SCP-096 just going unnoticed, waiting for the careful eye? As I said before, I want this thing terminated now. End log.
So, let me ask this. Based on what that guy said, is it so are they talking about the human brain, or are they talking about the SCP's brain? Does it have to wait until it realizes what is in that photograph or not?
Basically, the human brain has to get an image of its face.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're aware of what the hell you just saw. Like he said, basically that triggers 096, and then it breaks containment to come find you and kill you because you've seen its face. You don't even have to be aware of what you did to get this thing to kill you.
So basically, just having a mere photograph is just enough to just basically give you a death sentence, basically.
Yeah, basically, if you're able to see its fucking face in the photograph.
But
If you looked at the photo and didn't look at the place in the photo where his face was in the background, then you're fine. But the moment your eyes break over it, it could be, a slight glance, or you could really be looking at like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, but then
And then it comes after you.
But then, based on that, it's basically just having the photo in general. Because let's be honest, when you have a photo, you're not gonna just go ahead and look at one thing. You're gonna look at the whole photo. So if you just happen to glance at it and that's just enough, basically having that thing is just like a ticket just to say, oh well, I'm dead. Like, just no, it doesn't matter.
Just a quick question, Doctor. What exactly were you planning on doing there? Major Jack Wilford was top-notch SBS when we recruited him.
I was also a recon medic and was deployed in Calcasieu. Marines beat Special Boat Service.
No, they don't.
Enough, both of you. Moving on. Begin log. Video interview log 096-1-D.
I got the bag over its head.
Yes, you've told me that. Could you tell me exactly what transpired?
It was done with all its... It was sitting there in the highway. Just got done ripping open a minivan.
Interviewee is silent.
And?
Wes landed the chopper. I got out and bagged it. I put the bag over its head. It got calm, and they took it.
And so the victims in the minivan were the last to have viewed SCP-096's face.
Interviewee is silent. Interviewee remained silent for the remainder of the interview and was released. He was later found in his bunk room having committed suicide via hanging with a makeshift rope. A half-crushed pacifier was found in his fist. End log.
Yo, that's sad, bro. I could imagine that.
It is.
It's just too much for him. So he had to just... I can't do it no more. It's just sad.
Begin log. Video log 096-1-D confiscated tape from news broadcast CNN.
Oh, Lord.
The image shows first responders surrounding the remains of a crashed plane over the shoulder of a field reporter. The plane, which seems to be military in origin, has no outward markings designating it as a part of the US military. While first responders look for a black box recording, it is thought by police that the plane crashed due to a massive cabin breach in both the cockpit and fuselage. The reporter motions to a large hole in the side of the plane, which several firefighters are climbing inside. Paramedics have only found 3 bodies, which is odd for a plane apparently requiring a crew of around 20 men. Police have suggested... The reporter is cut off as 3 super stallions are shown hovering overhead, 2 of which land and begin unloading troops belonging to MTF Epsilon. Shots off the camera, shots off the motherfucker... End log.
Oh no.
Begin log.
So are we finished here?
One last question, Doctor, or statement, as it seems. We find it interesting that there was no break room at research site. Or coffee.
Interviewee remains silent.
We think it would be best if you begin talking.
Remainder of video interview log 096-1-A redacted. End log. Security clearance gateway. The remaining audio recording has been redacted by O5 command. Only personnel with level 5 or high clearance may access this file. Administrator clearance accepted. Video interview log 096-1-A continued.
I'm waiting, Doctor.
I was not in the break room.
Yes, we know that. Where were you?
Interviewer remains silent.
Very well.
Interviewer closes his folder and gets up from the chair.
Good day, Doctor.
Interviewer leaves. 4 minutes later. Door opens and O5-1 enters accompanied by 2 guards. Dr. Alexei stands. Sit. Dr. Alexei resumes his seat. You know who I am, and I think you can gather from that just how serious this is.
Yes.
Where were you, Doctor? Interviewee remains silent. Dr. Alexei, may I assure you that it is in your very best interests that you start talking. I am not exaggerating when I tell you that your life could very well depend on what you say or don't say next. Dr. Alexei fidgets in his chair and sighs before continuing.
Very well. Myself and Dr. Dan have long known the dangers that SCP-096 presented. Dr. Dan made multiple attempts to make the O5 and you and the seniors understand that SCP-096 had to be terminated as soon as possible. He heard nothing back. No termination order, not even a suggestion there would be a discussion about it. We devised a scenario to finally make you and the other O5s understand that SCP-096 has to die. We knew it would have to be something quite big for you to take notice, however it was all for the greater good. It had to die.
Keep going.
That photograph wasn't that many years old at all. SCP-096 was transported to the mountain range. Dr. Dan had contacted an old friend who was exploring in the area and was going to use him as part of this scenario without the civilian knowing. Dr. Dan and his friend climbed the mountains and met up with myself and a D-class we took with us to take the photograph.
The same friend that caused SCP-096 to breach containment?
Yes.
Continue.
Keeping it short, SCP-096 was being held very far back in the background with a couple of agents, while the D-class took the photo. Dr. Dan and the friend then continued on their way, and I instructed the D-class to look at a very specific point on the photograph, which he did. The agents informed me SCP-096 had entered an enraged state. I didn't see it, but the screams and sounds were enough to confirm that the experiment had been a success. The agents bagged SCP-096 and we transported him and us all back to site. I later met up with Dr. Dan.
Okay, let's skip ahead to the breach, please, and turn to the initial question. Where were you?
Dr. Dan, met up with the same friend from the mounting experiment in his home. He had him view the photo. The friend looked at the location of SCP-096, which triggered SCP-096 to enter an enraged state and break containment. Prior to this, Dr. Dan had called me to inform me that the breach was about to commence. I left SCP-096's containment area knowing that the area would be flooded with nerve gas the moment it broke containment. I informed Dr. Dan that SCP-096 had broken containment and was headed for SCP-096-1, at which point he left. He coordinated most of MTF-TAU-1 from his car via his phone. Look, I know this looks bad, but this had to be—
05-1 holds up his hand to silence Dr. Alexei. So, what I can gather from this is that you and Dr. Dan caused this breach and the subsequent deaths of more than 300 staff and civilians because you wanted to prove a point.
I suppose yes.
What?
Can you imagine? Like, I've seen this kind of scenario played. It's like somebody does something so horrific just to prove a point. But then again, it's kind of like you put the lives of millions of people just so you can prove a point. All we just had to do was not look at look at the thing's face or take a photo of it or nothing, and the thing would have been fine. But you went this far to prove a point that it needed to be terminated. But so far, everything that we've done so far can't kill it. Maybe they have something
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. But
I mean, basically, Dr. Dan wanted permission to figure out a way to kill it and then go through with it. That's the whole reason why this even fucking happened, is because they refused to even give him permission to start research on a way to execute 096. Yeah, it's fucked up what he did, but Dan did have a point, but his execution of proving his point was fucking horrible.
exactly, like the people that they've lost, the people that they lost on the outside, not to mention some of their equipment that CNN broadcasted on. Who knows? They probably aren't supposed to be. They're more than likely very, very secretive. They're not supposed to have. Nobody's supposed to know anything about them. So they also got exposure about it.
Mm-hmm.
This
Which is why when that soldier landed, he basically told him, "Shut off the camera, shut off the fucking camera now." It's because, and he confiscated the tapes.
Yeah. So yeah, this wasn't just horrible. This was just I can't even begin with this. With
Atrocious.
It's not more, dude. This is more than atrocious. This is just, if there was a
Cold-blooded.
not cold blooded. To describe how horrible that had been executed.
A clusterfuck.
You know what? As crass as it might be, let's go with that. It was a clusterfuck. Like it was a clusterfuck cubed. Oh my gosh.
What do you mean, S?
It wasn't
meant to go that way?
We thought that the scramble gear—
That piece of shit fucked over the entire task force. 96% of the entire task force killed. So you came up with all of it. The staged photograph, the containment breach, the use of a civilian in an unauthorized
96% of their task force, bro, was killed.
Yep.
That's pretty much all of their task force. And they probably have a hard time enough trying to like, possibly train these people, debrief them, all the money they probably have to put into to getting these people.
Yep, and then you have people like that one soldier who committed not alive because he couldn't take it anymore. You have to also spend millions on
equipment
and that and on the anesthetics if a member wants to just retire. I mean, because they do allow that. I think what they'll do is they'll set up a task force member with some funds and put him back in his average life and give him anesthetic, which basically he won't remember anything.
Kind of like a kids next door decommissioning.
That or just basically the Men in Black flashy thing from the movie.
Yeah, but I like my idea better. It's not as to me. I feel like the Men in Black thing is kind of cool, but the K&D thing kind of seems more realistic and fitting.
Wait till you figure out where they get the anesthetics from. That's gonna be a fucked video.
Oh well, thank you for warning me.
Experiment, all of it. Do you have any idea what you could have done? You could have caused a fucking XK if a single news camera or a cell phone had captured its face and gone public.
We couldn't know.
You didn't know shit, and you caused the deaths of hundreds.
We couldn't know. It's a very weak attempt to try to cover your butt. You knew. You knew. The fact that you took a photograph, you knew what this could have led to, but you did it anyway.
All to prove a fucking point.
All to prove a point. And in the end of the day, you still didn't know all about this thing anyway. You say that it has to be killed, and you did this, but you still have no clear idea of to what extent this thing, to what its limits are. Your bullets, your bombs, your equipment, your people gone to waste. And for what? Now these people got to shell out money because of what you did.
Of personalities, people you worked with, people you trusted for your safety, and some you may have even called friends once when they were alive. Did you hear the Master Sergeant's testimony? He witnessed that fucking creature ripping an 8-month-old child apart. Think of that. Were children just collateral damage in this plan of yours, you sick fuck?
We had to show you. You didn't listen to us. That thing has to die.
This dude's making me angry right now, bro. Like, listen.
This is literally like... That's like the same fucking reasoning a 5-year-old would give for wanting an extra cookie before bed.
Nah. At least with a 5-year-old you can come to an agreement with. This guy doesn't really care. He doesn't see the fact that yes, it has to die, but it could have been a million different ways that you could have, done different ways to see that this thing could have been taken care of, right? Like, could have set it up in a room, set up with like some dummies or certain things that it could have, like, just something that didn't have to deal with the death of people. And it said he witnessed it ripping open an 8-month-old child apart. Dude, throw that man under the facility.
You and Dan are evil. You represent everything that the Foundation cannot be. We secure the anomalies, we contain them, and we protect humanity so they don't have to suffer from them. We don't release them onto the world with our own selfish motives.
I stand by my actions.
This was twisted and evil and cunning. You do not have leave to authorize your own experiments that put innocent civilians' lives at risk.
Well, finally, you can now see why it has to die.
Okay, fuck this guy.
I hear no remorse in your voice, Doctor.
So what now?
Dr. Alexei, I hereby find you guilty of treachery to the Foundation, the intentional release of a Euclid-class SCP resulting in mass loss of life, the intentional release of sensitive information also resulting in mass loss of life, the inclusion of a civilian in an unauthorized experiment also leading to loss of life including the civilian, and severe gross negligence of your duties and responsibilities.
AKA, you got people killed. just say it as it is, bro. You got people killed. But I do like the breakdown of all the things that he broke.
I do too.
You are hereby sentenced to execution.
What?
From this moment forward, you are now under arrest. You will be incarcerated until the earliest possible time your execution can be scheduled for.
No, this was the right thing to do. You can't do this.
Oh my gosh. He really doesn't see that what he did truly, what, like, the question that should be asked is that, Mr. Dr. Oseki, what is the purpose of our facility? Alexi. What
Yeah,
is the
Alexi.
purpose? What is the purpose of our facility? To contain these SCPs from civilians so they do not have to suffer at the hands of these SCPs. Okay. So explain to me why going and staging a breach of containment and allowing this thing to run about, knowing what triggers it and what allows it to do what it does, is anything that we stand, is a part of anything that we stand for. If anything, everything that happened in this point right now has caused nothing but just just a complete disregard for everything that we stand for. So you're telling me that this was the right thing to do, but it's the only thing that it's one of the only things that we don't stand for. It would have just been fine if it was just in a box, right? It would have just been fine. No, now that I think about it, what would this thing do if it saw its own reflection?
You mother flunker. I wouldn't be thinking about that all fucking night now. Thank you.
It has to attack itself, don't you think? I mean, like, kind of like a Medusa effect, right? Medusa can't see her own reflection because she'll turn to stone. So,
dude, I don't fucking know.
I mean, that just came to me. If Medusa turns to stone by her own reflection, then that should mean that if this thing is triggered by getting enraged by seeing itself, shouldn't that be a way that it can terminate its own self? Based on what we
I
know
think
now.
self-preservation would stop it before it killed itself.
I don't know. I don't know. Depends, because when things get enraged or get into a certain height of anger, that rationale just goes out the window. So we don't know because nothing has been said about it yet. So
also, as a result of your actions, your work contract and insurance plans are hereby revoked, including any compensation to your family in the result of your death. Your family will be informed you died with honour in the execution of your duty, when in reality you died as a traitor to the people you are bound to protect.
He did not even have to give him that courtesy. I am shocked. He did not have to give him that courtesy.
Yeah, well, as you're about to see, Oleski makes a huge fucking mistake. Oh, another huge mistake, despite the, in addition to the bullshit he just pulled.
Fuck you!
In a rage, Dr. Alexei jumps from his chair and moves to attack 05-1. The guards immediately open fire on Dr. Alexei, resulting in the doctor's death. I don't see what this has to do with me. There's no reason to play dumb, Doctor. He told us everything. Well, then I guess there's no use feigning anything, is there? Audio recording 05 hearing. Upon reviewing your testimony and available footage, and the confession of the late Dr. Alexei, it is the unanimous agreement of the 05 that you are to be terminated for your part in the growth of your part in the gross breach of SCP-096. And I thought you would know the meaning of for the greater good.
Fuck you.
Do not try my patience, Doctor. Given the incident's scope and potential, the O5 have approved your request for the termination of SCP-096. Given the lack of personnel with understanding of SCP-096, the termination will be entrusted to you, under heavy guard and the personal supervision of me. Your own termination will be scheduled at a later date.
So it only took until now for them to actually terminate this thing?
Yeah, they wanted to keep it contained because they had no clue how to kill it. I think, and however, this incident forced them to accept that yes, it needs to be killed.
Really, all they had to do is literally just
Dr.
wait.
Dan and Oleski and Dr. Oleski got what they fucking wanted, but
at what cost?
Over 300 lives and 96% of the fucking of their best task force.
Messed up, bro. That's just wow. I have to stop eating because I'm getting full. But this is just wow. I just can't. Wow.
End log.
That is horrible, Doctor. How could you knowingly...
It worked. There was only a matter of time until that happened in a major population center, and its face spread over the world news. I can kill O96, but I've killed myself in the process. And there we have it. Now, before we go to the end credits and the next times, can I please take this moment to say the absolute biggest thank you to all of these amazing YouTubers for so generously lending their voices for this entry. Please go check them out, all links are in the description. They all do various horror or SCP related readings, and it would be well worth looking into. And there we go, everyone. That was the remastered SCP-096. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope there were some significant improvements from the last one that you could all hear and see.
Well, I will say this. This is my first time watching an SCP video. Also, it's my first time drinking some pineapple flavored Mountain Dew. So, I will say this. It was indeed a very interesting video, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The breakdowns.
Yeah, next time I'm gonna show... Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Vibe.
The breakdowns, the treason, the even the visuals. Even though some things that was heard was kind of hard to hear, but you know, I truly enjoyed it. I do have a knack for these kind of things. I do enjoy these type of things where you get to learn a little bit about something, but it also puts some certain things in perspective. So yeah, Zai, I really enjoy this, and I thank you for showing this to me. We should watch more of these. These are great.
Oh yeah, we should. Next time I'm gonna show him SCP. I think it's SCP 3000.
Jeez, bro. Jeez, bro. I don't know if I like this.
Yeah. Hey, if I wasn't as afraid of the fucking ocean before, he will be after that one.
I mean, like, I'm not scared of the ocean. I mean,
Oh, you will be after this one. They'd be scared like a little bitch.
Try me.
Alright, guys. Next time you get to see Vibe nearly shit himself.
I'm telling you, try me. I don't think I'll be scared. At least I don't think I will be. But anyway. Anyway. Well, guys, that has been Vibe Nation. This is SCP 096. Hopefully we'll be able to see more in the future. And let's go. Anything you want to say? Anyone have to say for the end credits?
Yeah, I just gotta say I support freeing the titties 24/7.
Yep, and that was our final notes. And we will see you guys on the next one. We're out. Peace.